speaking the truth of the word and reaching the youth, saving souls of the old, doing God's work with more to do. And he turning up every week and get lit, and making it church on Sunday. You can tune in and get your fix. Turn up, turn up, turn up. It's that weekly turn up, turn up, turn up. It's that weekly turn up, turn up, turn up. It's that weekly turn up, turn up, turn up.
And Mr. Lake said something that I think is very apropos to the message that we have been talking about the last few days. And what Mr. Lake said is, I want you to hear this. Mr. Lake said, in the beginning, man's spirit was the dominant force in the world. When he sinned, his mind became dominant. Sin dethroned the spirit and crowned the intellect. But grace is restoring the spirit to its place of dominion. Mr. Lake says, when man comes to realize this, he will live in the realm of the supernatural without effort. Mr. Lake says that there was once a time when we were led by the Spirit. Everything we did was by the Spirit. But then sin came. And when sin came, now our intellect took over. And so now we're led by our minds, by what we think, rather than by what the Spirit says. This blessed my life because it reminded me that when my life is led by the Spirit of God, when I allow God to order my steps, watch this, I have dominion. There is a work to be done in the earth realm. I've come this morning to remind you that the harvest is plentiful, but the laborers are few. There is a recovery that is supposed to take place that the first Adam lost, but Jesus said, I took back the keys of the kingdom of death, hell, and the grave, watch this, and I've placed them in your hand. You are not supposed to let the world beat you up. You are not supposed to let the world run you around. You are not supposed to let the world make you depressed. You are not, I'm talking to somebody already, you are supposed to have dominion, you're supposed to rule, and you are supposed to dominate. Many of you have heard me tell this testimony several times before, but I like telling it bears repeating. When I was in third grade, I told you about one of my childhood friends, Glendale. He used to beat me up every day after school. I used to get off the bus, and I would run home. I would just run home when I got off the bus because he would beat me up, and I would run down the street, open the door, running from him. As soon as I got off the bus, I'd grab my book bag. I didn't have time to fellowship. I ran, opened the door, and I was running the house. Well, I told you, somebody told my mother that I was running from Glendale. My mother stayed at home from work that day, and I got off the bus that day, and I ran as I usually do, opened the door. Come here. And my mother shut the door. And mama said, you gonna fight today. My mother was not condoning violence. What she was doing was stopping me from running from something that I had the potential to beat. I've come to talk to those of you that ran into the church today because you're running from pain, you're running from heartache, you're running from sickness, you're running from a bad relationship, you're running from a bad boss. The doors of the church are open, but I've come to tell you that I'm shutting the door so you can stop running from something that you have dominion to be. There are people under the sound of my voice. Those that are sitting in this sacred place called sanctuary, as well as those that are watching online. You know you have received a gift from God. You know that you have been blessed. You know God has given you the ability to teach. He's given you the ability to preach. He's given you the ability to serve. He's given you the ability to visit the sick. He's given you the ability to bless a family that can't pay for it for themselves, and you're just sitting on it, not using it. But I've come this morning to tell you that God says, I'm going to take from what you have and give it to somebody that's going to use it. There are churches just like this one all over the country that are full today because Jesus, the name of Jesus, can draw a crowd. There are people that are watching online in all of these different countries today when they hear the name of Jesus, because the name of Jesus can always draw a crowd. But I've come this morning to tell you that all of the crowd don't get Jesus. Footnote: never base the importance of your assignment on the size of the crowd. Let me say it to this side over here. When God has called you to do something, never base the importance of your assignment on the size of who's looking, who sees you do it, or the size of the crowd. You are always serving to an audience of one. And God told Moses, go tell Pharaoh that I said, let my people go. Moses says, who should I tell him sent me? God, I feel my help coming on now. Who should I tell him sent me? God said, tell him that I am sent you. That you're not going to put me in a box. Whatever it takes to get them free, that's what I will become. I've come to tell you that the I am is coming to get you out. Whatever it is that you're in, you're not going to have to keep crying about it. You're not going to have to keep worrying about it. God says, I'm going to deliver you.
Pastor Luke, speaking the truth of the word and reaching the youth, saving souls of the old, doing God's work with more to do. And he turning up every weekend, getting lit, making the church